Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I'm going to check a new racing quadcopter from HGLRC, the Mefisto. In this video I'm going to go over its features, set it up and take it outdoors and test it out. HGLRC are also sponsoring a giveaway, so one of you lucky subscribers is going to win this quadcopter, which is going to be sent directly from HGLRC, and I'm going to post the giveaway details in a separate video. The HGLRC Mefisto is a 5-inch racer and it is available in a couple of options. First of all, you can choose between bind and fly and plug and play versions. The bind and fly is available with a FlySky 8S V2 receiver for the FlySky version and with an FrSky XM Plus for the FrSky version. The plug and play version of course doesn't come with any receiver, so you will have to provide your own one, and you can also choose between two types of motors. The one I've got is the 2306 version, so these motors are identical to the ones that are included with the Batman 220 and they can handle up to 5S Lipo batteries. In addition, you can also choose a 2207 motor options, so recently I upgraded the Batman to these motors and these motors can handle up to 6S Lipo batteries. My suggestion is that if you're going to run this setup with 4S, even though these motors can handle 4S with no problem of course because they can handle up to 6S, they perform better with 5S and 6S Lipo batteries. So for 4S, get the 2306 motors, and if you want to run this quadcopter with 5S and 6S Lipo batteries, opt in for the 2207 motors. Inside the box, we can find the Mefisto Racing Quadcopter, an RCP Pagoda antenna with an SMA antenna connector, 3 pairs of Gemfan 51-52 propellers, so you're only getting 2 extra propellers, so make sure to order more. A bag with nuts for the motors and extra screws, and also this bag with the instructions manual, stickers, and also a battery velcro strap. In terms of component, just like the Batman 220, the Mefisto is using the HGLRC DinoShot 60A BLA32 4-in-1 ESC. They also use the same flight controller, the Airbus F4 OSD, which came on the Mefisto pre-flashed with Betaflight 3.4.0. The Mefisto is using the GTX 226 V2 VTX. It features smart audio, support 48 channels, and according to the specifications of the Mefisto itself, the maximum output strength of this VTX is 400 mV, but on the VTX itself it states that the maximum output strength is 600 mV, and shortly I'm going to measure the output strength, so I'm going to see which one is correct. Unlike the Batman 220, which is using a micro FPV camera, the Mefisto is using a full-sized one. This is the Runcam Swift 2, which is an excellent FPV camera. And as for motors, as I mentioned before, you have two options. So you can opt in for the 2306 2450 kV motors, which can handle up to 5S Lipo batteries. And you can choose the 2207 1775 kV motors, which can handle up to 6S Lipo batteries. Since this is the FlySky bind and fly version, we can find over here the FlySky FS8S receiver, and the bind button is located over here, so it's easily accessible and you won't have to disassemble anything in order to bind your transmitter. Just like its name, the Mefisto is using the HGLRC Mefisto racing frame, which was designed by Rotorama. The arms are interchangeable, so in case you break one arm, you can simply replace it. However, at the moment of shooting this video, the arms are not being sold separately. However, the frame is being sold separately for $40, so I recommend that if this is going to be your first quadcopter, you should get an extra frame, so in case you're going to break apart, you can simply replace it. The thickness of each arm is 4 mm, so hopefully they are not going to break easily. The wheelbase is 226 mm, and the distance between the front motors and the back ones is about 17.5 centimeters, and the distance between the front motors and also between the back ones is about 14.5 centimeters, so the design of this frame is a stretched X. The weight of the Mefisto without the propellers and without the battery strap is 291.6 grams, so this is not a very heavy quadcopter. I can't really compare it to the Batman 220 because this one has been modified, so the motors are a little bit heavier, and also I replaced the VTX. But just as a comparison, the weight of this modified Batman 220 is about 304 grams. Binding the FlySky version is done by pressing the bind button on the receiver while powering on your quadcopter. Now as you can see, the receiver is flashing, which means that it is on binding mode. Then on a remote controller, choose FS28 protocol, hit bind, and now the receiver is flashing slowly, which means the bind procedure was successful. And as you can see, now it's working. Now unfortunately this receiver does not support RSSI, so you're not going to get any RSSI feedback. So if this feature is important to you, like it is important to me, I recommend to get the plug and play version and get a separate receiver which supports RSSI. Now, as I mentioned before, the VTX of the Mefisto supports smart audio. However, strangely, it does not come pre-configured on Betaflight. So what you have to do in order to make it work is to head over to the ports section on Betaflight. Then next to your tree, under peripherals, select IRC trump, save and reboot, and then the smart audio feature is going to work. If you're not familiar with setting up the VTX through Betaflight OSD, what you need to do in order to access this feature is to put the throttle at mid position, tilt it to the left, and then tilt the pitch to the top. As you can see over here, we can see the Betaflight OSD menu. Then you can navigate using the pitch and roll stick. So we are going to head over to features, VTX-TR, which stands for VTX Trump Protocol. The SA stands for Smart Audio Protocol, so it's applicable for other VTXs. Then enter this menu by tilting the roll to the right, and over here we can set the VTX. Now the VTX is set to 25 milliwatts, and the measured output strength is about 20 milliwatts. Now I'm going to set it to 100 milliwatts, and the measured output strength is about 194 milliwatts. When it is set to 200 milliwatts, I'm getting around 267 milliwatts. When it is set to 400 milliwatts, I'm getting about 340 milliwatts. And finally, when it is set to 600 milliwatts, which is the highest option, I'm getting about 340 milliwatts. So there is no change between 400 and 600 milliwatts. So I think the claim that the maximum output strength of this VTX is 400 milliwatts is true. Now, by the way, the output strength is not identical for all the frequencies. So now, for example, the VTX is set to F1, which is 5740, and the VTX is set to 400 milliwatts, and I double checked it, 400 and 600 milliwatts are the same option, so it's not going to change. And the measured output strength is 400 milliwatts, and before it got even to 425 milliwatts. The next thing I'm going to do is to go over Betaflight settings and then head outdoors and test it out using 4S and 5S Lipo batteries. I hope you will enjoy the rest of this video, and I'll see you in the end of it in order to give you my conclusion. So overall, I can tell you that the HGLRC Mefisto is a very agile quadcopter, and even flying on 4S Lipo batteries, it felt really fast, and this is definitely more of a racing quadcopter than a freestyle quadcopter. Having said that, I still think that the Mefisto is suitable for beginners. The camera is well protected inside the cage, and from what I can tell so far, the frame is pretty durable. What I recommend to do anyway is to get this bottom plate protector for the battery, because you are going to land on the battery and you don't want to damage it. In addition, if you plan to use an HD camera on top, I recommend to 3D print your own mount. If you're not going to use any mount like I did, the angle is going to be off, like you probably saw on my HD footage. And if you're going to use this kind of mount, the angle is going to be too high. So probably the best solution would be to 3D print a 15 degrees mount. By the way, you could see on the flight footage that the Runcam OSD was overlaid, and I think that HGLRC by default should disable the OSD, and if you want you can add it, so I'm going to let them know. And if you want to change the data that is displayed on the Runcam OSD, you need to get this type of adapter and connect it on the back of the camera. In terms of flight time, I could get around 2.5 minutes using 1300 mAh Lipo batteries, and almost 3 minutes using 1500 mAh Lipo batteries. Now if you're debating whether to get the Batman 220 or the Mefisto, I can tell you that these both options are pretty similar. I can see also the frame is similar as well. However, there is a difference in terms of pricing. The plug-and-play version of the Batman 220 costs $300, whereas the plug-and-play version of the Mefisto costs $259. And I also got a coupon from you from HGLRC for 15% off, which is going to lower the price of the Mefisto for $220. So $80 is a big difference, which will enable you to buy an extra frame and also extra propellers. So I think that priced at $220 after the discount, the Mefisto will give you a better value for money. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, HGLRC kindly sponsored a giveaway, and one of you lucky subscribers is going to win the Mefisto, which is going to be sent directly from HGLRC. So if you want to learn more about the giveaway and to participate, you can just click the link over here, and in the video you will find the giveaway information. As always, I thank you for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it and you find it useful. If you have any questions about the Mefisto, feel free to ask it in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up if you like this video, and consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the notification bell if you're not already subscribed. See you in my next videos, and goodbye.